There are a lot of different types of direct measures that you could use. Ones that are very commonly thought of are things like exams and quizzes or assignments and projects. But there's also things like doing observations of students doing actual skills or things, creating portfolios of their learning that they've done over time or examples of the products they've created, doing demonstrations, even having things like homework assignments or coursework that is explicitly tailored to those student learning outcomes. There's then also those big projects such as the capstones, the theses, final performances, or thinking about what they're doing in actual work, such as through an internship. For graduate programs, there are a number of other types of commonly used assessment that might be good examples of direct measures. So things like their comprehensive exams that they take while they're going through the process, or even their proposals for their theses and dissertations. And so those would be other ways to directly measure learning and skill development in programs. With professional programs, there might be additional competencies or licensure requirements that would be great direct measures that are already established that could be included in your assessment plans. When you're thinking about direct measures, there are a couple of considerations that we recommend. And so this is a common one might be the difference between a course grade versus an assignment. A course grade is not a direct measure in that because it's taking a lot of aspects of student performance, including things like, are they attending class and things like that. And so for that reason, it's not the best measurement of the learning that may have occurred. Whereas assignment grades are more directed on how students have performed on something. So thinking about using assignments versus the grade is going to be a better direct measure. For undergraduate programs, it might be very common to focus on those upper division courses for a major, because for your program, you may want students to have developed a skill, but they may not have been able to do that in their 101 sort of introductory courses. And so it's often going to be those upper level courses where they've really had the chance to be exposed to practice and master the content and skills that are part of that program. For graduate and professional programs, it may rely more on those culminating experiences, like we mentioned on the previous slide. So those comprehensive exams, those proposals, those really big milestones that are part of those programs. Something that Bryant mentioned in some of the earlier examples that he showed is that sampling can be okay, or is okay for these types of assessment plans and reports. You don't have to report every single course or every single student as you are going through and compiling your data and looking at that. Sampling is okay, but it's good to explain exactly how that's occurring. And something else to consider is that assignment scoring is also a good direct measure. And so one instructor's evaluation of student learning is sufficient. Other departments do some sort of team criterion based, which was also present in those examples where they're sort of norming their reviews and are reviewing students as a whole. So there's different ways about going through this process. And the nice thing about this is that direct measures, if you're relying on instructor scores, can be pulled directly from Gradescope, Gradebooks, Canvas, Sakai, those things that you're already doing. And so I think that this is really comforting, back to Brian's point, that even if you have there may be a report that's missing in your department, you have done this, you have monitored student learning. It's just gathering that data and connecting it with your outcomes.